Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here for my Week 6 battle of SPL, the Smogon Premier League 7 versus Hikari. I'm playing UU once again this week. Hikari is actually one of the UU tier leaders on Smogon, and I have a really nice matchup this game. Basically, I prepped for standard Hikari balance with my team, and this is the team that I ended up choosing versus him. Smogon just has a field day versus his team. His way of beating it is not being burnt with Whimsicott and like his own Smogon, which I beat 1v1 not only because I have speed but also because I'm running a second attack over Scald, which you guys will see later. But like I said, Smogon has a field day versus his team, especially because Infernape and Aerodactyl typically gives me switches. I have Mandibuzz and Florius, as well as even Ice Shard on Mamoswine and Sucker Punch on Toxicroak to check Alakazam. So I'm feeling a little bit confident going into this game. But also, if you guys want to pick up the Drop of Draco shirt, hoodie, and stuff like that, this is the last day to get them. So if you guys want to pick one up, you can. And I also know that I didn't put up a UCL team building video. You'll know why tomorrow when the battle goes up. But in any case, let's just get right into the game. I decided that Smogon is just the best lead versus his team simply because it beats like all of his members besides Whimsicott. So I lead off with Smogon as he leads off an Infernape, and he actually decides to U-turn right off the bat, revealing to me that this Infernape is more than likely Choice Scarf, just based on that damage. That's not banded damage, that's definitely Choice Scarf damage, or, you know, obviously no item no boosted item damage. I guess he could be Expert Belt, but whatever. I go for Scald as he brings out his Smogon, and I decide to trade a few Scalds with him for these few turns. I do have Toxicroak on 100% switching. I don't want to risk him being I don't want to risk him being like the same set I am, which I'll show you guys later. But I know that I am faster, especially because my leftovers is going first and I am outspeeding him. Like I said, I do have a significant amount of speed, and I'm actually pressure stalling him a bit out of his Scald. So I'm going to double my Toxicroak, predicting him to want to go out into his Aerodactyl as he decides to Scald again. More than likely predicting me to do that. Good play on his part. However, I'm fine with this trade just because, again, I'm stalling him with my pressure, so he has less Scalds right now. So anticipating him to want to switch out this turn, predicting me to go back out into Toxicroak. I actually go for Scald because, like I said, it hits everything on his team. Landed on the Whimsicott. Don't get the burn though. But you know, Scald. I'm not gonna be one of those people say, "Oh, the water was it was cold today." It seems like it's so lame. But I'm gonna go directly into my Channeler, and I knew it was happening right here. He would go for U-turn. He would go out to Aerodactyl, but I figured that Channeler was just the most expendable member on my team because whatever Pokemon he comes in on, that Pokemon gets U-turn. I'm a leftover Channeler. I'm not going to say my set, but I do have Will-O-Wisp on it. That's just something you can know. And basically, if I try to bring this in on Infernape or Whimsicott, they could always U-turn out. So it was only a matter of time before I get Pursuit Trap by his Mega Aerodactyl. Now, Stone Edge is actually his best play because I do not have a solid Rock Resist on my team. I also didn't want to go out into my Suicune because Suicune is going to have a lot of pressure this game. It's going to be switching into attacks from Mamoswine, from his own Suicune, from Infernape, and from this Aerodactyl. So I decided to, you know, if he decided to make a poor play, that's exactly what I'm going to call it, because I knew he would go Stone Edge right here. It's his best play. But if he decided to go for a poor play and go for Pursuit, which I stayed in, I would burn him with the Will-O-Wisp. Also, if he obviously missed, I would have burned him with Will-O-Wisp unless I missed. So Channeler is going to go down turn 7, but I can now go out to Suicune and just fire off a Scald one more time. I don't have to risk doubling into my Toxicroak because he goes out to Whimsicott. So I'm hitting this thing with Scalds, trying to get a burn on it because this is one thing on his team that can actually deal with my Suicune. As I am going to go out into my Florius simply because it can just take this thing on. It's bulky. I don't even have special defense investment, but look how little I take from that Gauge Drain. And what I can do right here is just start firing off Moonblast. Moonblast do about 50% to the Whimsicott, and his only fairy switching is really Suicune, besides Aerodactyl, which can take 2 and potentially roost off depending on what it is. It's Aerodactyl. So what I am going to do is actually fire off another Moonblast right here because I'm waiting for him to double. He knows I have Toxicroak. He actually goes for Calm Mind, more than likely trying to scare me out to go out to Toxicroak. So again, I do read this play, which is why I stay in one more time and go for Moonblast as he does switch out into his Aerodactyl. And I'm able to get off a chill 43% on that. So that's really nice for me. Now, I don't want to risk him being a setup Aerodactyl, and he could roost right here anyway. I could definitely take Stone Edges, but if he's like Home Claws or something like that, Suicune is always the best play right now. So I hard switch directly into my Suicune as he does reveal himself to be the Home Claws variant of Aerodactyl. And obviously, I'm not going to mess around with this threat. This is a +1 Stone Edge. So I'm going to go right for Scald as he brings out his Suicune. And again, this is fine. Obviously, he's PP stalling me as well with pressure. which is what I guess his game plan was earlier on. I don't know if his last move is Roar. I don't know if it's Ice Beam or not, but I'm going to go out to Toxic Roar now, as he is going to go for the Scald. So we waste another turn of Scald right there, and I don't want to SD up just in case he has Roar. I also, again, I don't know what his set is just yet. He could be the same set as me, which I'll tell you in a bit. Well, I might as well tell you right now. I have extra sensory because Hikari loves Toxicroak, just based on what I've seen and what people have told me. So I wanted the only mon on my team that can really switch in well to Toxicroak to beat it 1v1. I have a little bit of a special attack investment, so I knock it out 100%. But I go Toxicroak, and right here I'm just going to fire off some Drain Punches. If he wants to go for Scalds, if he wants to go for Rest, that's fine. I don't want to SD up just in case he has Roar. I want to scout his set as he goes right for Rest. And what I am going to do is go for Gunk Shot just to get off a significant amount of damage. 39% is a nice amount of damage considering this is a Suicune. Suicune is one of my favorite Pokemon, by the way, as he doesn't go for Sleep Talk, so I don't know if he's Roar or not. Now, I could, in theory, go for SD right here, but because he does have Alakazam that could potentially come in on the SD and it's more likely Focus Sash, or he also has Whimsicott that could potentially come in and try and Encore me, I decided to, once again, I actually read this play, and I go right for Drain Punch. I catch the Alakazam upon switching. Pretty sure it's Focus Sash. And right here, I was definitely fearing the Thunder Wave. In hindsight, I probably should have went directly into Mamoswine if I was predicting Thunder Wave. I knew he wouldn't go for Psychic right now. He would definitely go for like Sub or Thunder Wave or something, which is why I was actually fearing going out to Mamoswine, because I didn't want him to be a substitute Alakazam. But I ended up going out to my Mandibuzz on, the yellow color, as you guys already know. I already knew he had Thunder Wave as well, more than likely, or Sub. Those are probably his two options right here. I think Thunder Wave is just a great option because when Aerodactyl tries to Pursuit Trap you, you can obviously live it and get off that Thunder Wave just to lower its speed. You still die to the next Pursuit, but, there's always hacks. And as you can see, this is what's going to happen. I go for Knockoff on the incoming Mamoswine, knock off his Life Orb. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for Rocks right here, so I decided to go for Foul Play, doing about 50 to 60% in theory, because I do get fully paralyzed by the Thunder Wave. So I'm going to switch on to my Suicune on the expected Icicle Crash right there. Really unfortunate that I got paralyzed because I wanted to weaken Mamoswine to the point where I can put in range of Ice Shard for my own Mamoswine, as he is going to go out to his own Suicune. And a few plays I can make right here. I could stay in and go for Double Scald. I could go out to Toxicroak. I could go out into my Mandibuzz because I can defog away these hazards. He doubles out into his Whimsicott. I actually go for the Double Scald, reading that play because I do have Toxicroak, like I said, in the back. And, that's the way I like to play. Like, let's say when I have Duck Trio, or you guys have seen me use this stuff a lot. Basically, when I have something in the back, it forces your opponent to do certain plays. And right there, I was trying to catch the Whimsicott, trying to get a burn on it, because again, this is one of the few things that can come in on my Suicune. And if I burn it, he more than likely has Encore. I'll be able to stall him out a bit with that. So I don't get the burn, as I am going to go out to my Florges because I can eat up any hit. As I'm pretty sure he goes for the U-turn right here, as you guys can see. And he doesn't have the best switch-ins. Like, he decides to bring out Mamoswine, and because I unfortunately didn't get off that foul play, now I have to 2-hit KO this Mamoswine as opposed to OHKOing it. And basically, the plan was foul play him, weaken Mamoswine, maybe knock it out with Florges or Suicune later, even Toxicroak, which does outspeed, or even Mamoswine's Ice Shard after the foul play damage, and proceed to defog on a double catching his Suicune, because Mandibuzz actually takes hits from Scarf, Alakazam, what the hell? From Alakazam, unless he's Life Orb. Which he could be, but even Life Orb Dazzling Gleam does not knock me out after Rocks. I could take hits from Scarf and Fernape easily, even Whimsicott. I could take super effective Moonblast, and obviously Suicune. So the plan was foul play him, then put him with Moonblast range right here. But what I'm actually going to do is Synthesis up. I don't want to switch into my Suicune because I don't want it being stalled out of another Scald if I go for it and he switches out into his own Suicune. So what I'm actually doing is, again, Synthesising up. In theory right here, I probably could have went for the Moonblast right there because I was at full. Which I did go for Moonblast. Wait, made a good play. Nice. Pat on the back. I'm just kidding. I just forgot if I went for Moonblast. That was the best play because I was at 100%. So now what I'm going to try and do is go for Synthesis to be at about 40%, 50% after an Earthquake. I want to be at as good amount of HP as possible. And I want to be able to take him on, obviously. So he's actually stalling me out of my Synthesis. So he's actually able to, as you can see right here, he is able to stall me out of... we're going to skip ahead, obviously. He's able to stall me out of all 8 Synthesis. However, after taking his Earthquake, I'll be at about 40%, as he's going to switch out to Suicune, trying to stall me out of Moonblast, probably trying to save Aerodactyl just for Mandibuzz. And what I am going to do is reveal that I indeed have not only Synthesis, but I also have the Wish. And I will be able to, what I'm going to try and do right now is switch past to my Mandibulas, because I can bring that thing in as his Suicune's either going to wake up right here or go for Scald. He actually miscounts and goes for Sleep Talk, which doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know why I moved this. Doesn't necessarily matter. But now I'm at full. And what I am going to do is go for Foul Play, because it knocks out what I'm assuming to be an incoming Mamoswine. If he goes Whimsicott, I can defog anyway. So I go for Foul Play right here. I'm at full HP. And you already know what happens. Like, by the way my voice sounds. I get fully paralyzed. So a little bit upset at this point. I could switch out to Suicune. However, I just want to knock out this Mamoswine, because even after taking the Icicle Crash, I can still switch into Suicune at least once and defog away these rocks. So goes for Icicle Crash and gets the flinch. So the game really does not want me to get rid of these rocks. So I'm going to switch out into my Suicune on the Icicle Crash. Also, part of the reason why I didn't switch out is because I didn't want to risk him going for Earthquake. Again, Suicune is pressured. I do have Rest on it. I also do have Aromatherapy on my Florges in the back. But I go out to my Suicune as he's going to go out to his own Suicune. And I actually double into my Mandibuzz one more time, trying to go for Defog. Now the plan was I go for Defog as he brings back out his Mamoswine, and then I roost up on his Stealth Rock, and then I switch back out to Suicune. Unfortunately, I get fully paralyzed once again, so it is what it is. He's able to knock me out with the Icicle Crash. I can't even risk switching out to Suicune now after the damage he's taking. But I can go out into my Toxicroak and knock him out right here with the Drain Punch, as he is going to switch out to Whimsicott. And I'm completely fine with this. This is the one Pokemon on his team stopping my Suicune. I will gladly trade my Toxicroak, which does wall his Suicune, because I can always bring it in on Suicune, or even try and Wish Pass to it whenever Suicune comes out, and try and make an aggressive double. So I go for Gunk Shot right here, because I know I can take a Moonblast from this Whimsicott, and I can knock him out and then help Suicune out. No, guys, no. The Gunk Shot decides to land on this, what I'm assuming to be a cave wall? What the hell is... Yeah, this is definitely a cave mall. What is this, Diglett Cave? Jamvad following me everywhere. But I missed the Gunk Shot, unfortunately, as I am going to switch out into my Florges right here on... Oh, a Giga Drain, which is a good play on his part. Expecting my switch, predicting that, more than likely trying to catch my Mamoswine on the Moonblast. That way I couldn't hit him up, but I'm going to go for Wish right here. Now, I know that he does have Encore. It's a Whimsicott. He either has Encore, Stun Spore, one of those. They're always going to have it, especially because he's so weak to Suicune. He definitely has Encore. So I was debating switching out into Toxicroak, passing it this fat Wish, because Florges is fat as hell, even though it looks thin, all the fat is in his head. But I didn't want to, because I still wanted to be healthy. That way I can potentially take on Alakazam. So I decided to let him Encore me right here, and basically be obviously subjected to Encore. But what I was trying to do also was stall him out of Encores, that way my Suicune could set up. So I go into Toxicroak right here as fodder at this point. I guess I could have also went out into my Mamoswine, but he's not in range of Ice Shard anymore anyway. And after Rocks, if he's offensive, which I'm pretty sure he is after that damage, Mamoswine has a chance to go down after Life Orb with the Giga Drain. So I go out into my Florges right here as he is going to go out into a Suicune. And I'm just going to fire off a Moonblast. As what I am going to do is just fire off another Moonblast on his Rest. Actually, I believe I go for Wish right here. No, I go for another Moonblast. So what I'm actually trying to do is seeing if he would still double into his Whimsicott. But I'm finally going to bring on my Suicune. And this is where the Calm Mind Wars start happening. I know I'm faster, so that's great for this in theory. But I go for a Calm Mind right here. And I obviously I go for another Calm Mind. And I feel like at this point, Hikari is a good player. I feel like Encore is kind of obvious, so I really don't think he'll actually be doing it this turn. I think he would actually either U-turn out or do something. So I reveal my last move, which is Extra Sensory. Like I said, he loves Toxicroak. I wanted a way to deal with it. And it also helps me in this game because at +6, if I get a crit, it does like 90% to Suicune, and then I can knock it out with the next one. Also, I have the chance to flinch him, and it's 100% accurate. So go to Alakazam, as he doesn't feel like Thunder Waving me just yet. So thankfully, he spares me right there, as I'm going to go for an Extra Sensory again, just because it would hit Whimsicott for a decent amount of damage at +3. And I basically am trying to flinch him right now, because if I get one flinch right here, I can knock him out. I do get that flinch, and I need one more, or a crit, as he does pull through right there. And the reason I'm not going for Calm Mind is because I don't want Whimsicott to come in, and I guess I could have went for +6, which I eventually decided to do, but also because I want him to hit me with a Scald and get a burn. That way I can rest up the damage and stall him out a bit. So I go for Calm Minds right here because he's not Scald burning me, unfortunately. It's funny because I wanted Scald burns on him, and now I want Scald burns on me, but it's not happening, as we are going to get up to +6 right now, as he's only at +1. 1, but now he's at +2. Gonna go for extrasensory because it's doing about 20%, and I have the chance to flinch him. I have the chance to crit him. That's what I'm going for right now. Like, I need to, especially after all that luck against me. So he's not gonna flinch, as I'm gonna go for Calm Mind because I'm trying to hope he gets a Sleep Talk, Scald Burn. That way I can rest. And eventually, as you can see, he does get up to +5, and he actually crits me with Scald, which is fine because what I can do is rest right now, as he's going to go out to Mammal Swine. I don't really know why he went Mammal Swine because without the Life Orb, this thing is not 4-hit KOing me at all, so I can rest off and even rest again. So he actually doubles out into a Suicune, as I'm going to be able to burn 1 turn of sleep right here. Now I'm +6 versus a neutral +0 Suicune, so I'm going to wake up in the following turn, but he is going to Calm Mind up, and now I'm just going to start firing off extrasensories. Doing 34%, which is crazy. Suicune's so bulky. But I get the flinch right there. We go for another one. And he goes for Calm Mind over resting. So he's really playing around with me flinching right now. So if I get the flinch right now, I can potentially deal with this Suicune. I do go for extrasensory. I get the flinch. Finally, some hacks in my favor. As it was going to come down to me either PP stalling him or critting him anyway because my Suicune would have beaten him. But he makes a good play, and, well, you know what he does. He sacks Mammal Swine, goes out into Alakazam, and you already know what attack he's clicking. That way he can win. But the thing is, a Thunder Wave Suicune actually isn't bad for me because I can still stall him out, especially because I'm not going to be getting off attacks most turns. The only way I can lose is if he double crits into a burn. That's the only way that I can lose this game. As I get fully paralyzed right there. And what I tried to do was actually predict him to to get fully paralyzed again, so I go for rest right now. I didn't want to fire off extrasensories. I guess I could have, because he ended up... Well, the first turn I went for extrasensory, because it is a 2-hit KO depending on damage rolls to Suicune. So the first turn, turn 82, I did go for extrasensory, and because I didn't get that off, I know there's no point in going for it, not trying to 2-hit KO him, because if he wakes up and gets 1 Calm Mind, which he will be able to in the following turn, I won't be able to knock him out. So he Sleep Talks with Calm Mind as I go for extrasensory right here, and I'm still trying to get that crit on him, as he's just going for Calm Mind. It's his best play. I decided to swap because I want to take Stealth Rock damage. That way I can rest with my Suicune as he gets another Calm Mind. Like I said, I'm trying to get this Stealth Rock damage as he goes out into his Whimsicott right now. And I really want him to go for Encore because I want him to waste them. So I don't mind letting my Suicune take the damage or just switching directly onto Florges. Either or, I could do that right here as he goes right for Giga Drain, not the Encore. So this is fine because I can start firing off some Moonblast on this thing. The plan was actually to... I mean, he gets a special drop there, which is a little bit annoying. Obviously, I get the same one, but I would have rather had my full power doing 52% to Whimsicott, and I can knock it out with +2 extrasensory. But obviously, that's not what's going to happen, as he is going to U-turn after I fire in the following turn, as he is going to go out to Suicune. And I still take this thing out in 1v1, so I go for Wish right now, because I'm going to try and pass this either to Suicune or just get back up to full. He actually goes right back out in the Whimsicott, so this is great because I fire off a Moonblast right here. I think he expected me to go out into my Suicune right there, and I could potentially knock him out, obviously, if I wasn't, you know, with that special attack drop, but that's the game. And going to go for another Moonblast right here because I have the chance to knock him out. Oh, no, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. It was a long game. I'm tired. And right here, I actually went for Wish because I expected him to U-turn out. I didn't expect him to let me damage him right there. I expected him to go Suicune. And I obviously didn't want to be pressure stalled because at this point, I probably have like 6 or 8 Moonblasts left. But he goes out into Infernape, surprisingly. A Scarf Infernape cannot deal with me, as I'm going to go right for Moonblast on that thing. Do a chill 34%, putting it in range of an unboosted Scald, as he's going to go out to Whimsicott. And he does make the good play going Whimsicott because I did obviously go for Wish, but I'm actually going to go out into my Suicune right now because I want to stall him out just a bit more of the Giga Drains. Also, if you want to go for Encore right there, but that was a good play on his part, going for the Giga Drain, predicting me to probably go out into Suicune or even into my Mamoswine on the Encore. So that was a good play, and but I am able to stall him out a bit more of that, which is what I wanted, and I can go right back out into Florges and proceed to take this thing on. So we're going to fire off a Moonblast right here. He decides to fire off his own as I go for a Wish, and I'm going to let him Encore me and basically just try and go for Wishes again, trying to stall him out a bit of his Moonblast and attacks like that. We're going to skip a few turns, and I'm going to try and pass this Wish to my Suicune as he goes for the Moonblast, and I'm able to stall him out of 2 right there because of pressure. And what I am going to do is go right back down to my Florges as he is going to... I'm sorry that this Suicune on Florges action is happening, but I'm going to go out to Suicune right here on the incoming Infernape because I'm fearing the Flare Blitz. Obviously, my my Florges can take it, and I could probably knock him out after, but I need Florges alive to deal with this Whimsicott. So, goes for Giga Drain right here, and this turn I decide to stay in because if I get off a rest and then go out to Florges and get off my Aromatherapy, I can win the game, and I 100% get off an Aromatherapy on everything. I can still win the game even after all this hacks. Unfortunately, I get fully paralyzed on the Giga Drain, and the game really doesn't want me to win because Florges takes up any hit. I really wanted to get off that rest. I could have, you know, rested right here and then Aromatherapied up, woken him up, and at this point, I have to fire off Moonblast. I do 62%. Look how much damage that is to his Whimsicott this turn, as he is actually going to save his Whimsicott. Good play on his part. Definitely good play on his part, trying to save his Whimsicott, not wanting it to go down. That way Suicune still has a potential chance, though it's really hard for Suicune to win at this point because of all the hacks that's been against it. But at this point, I am going to go out for the Moonblast. I could have went for the Wish, but I wasn't sure if he would go. I was pretty positive he'd double, but I wasn't sure if he'd be Whimsicott or not. But unfortunately, went Aerodactyl, not Whimsicott. Had I went for Wish, maybe I could have passed it, but then I still had to play around with the fact that he could, you know, full para me and stuff right there. But I go out to Mamoswine because I have to take the Stone Edge, and then I have to go for Ice Shard right here. There's no other play I can make right now. Maybe could have been fancy and went for Rocks, but obviously it wouldn't have worked out because he stayed in. And at this point, Scarf Infernic can just clean me up with close combat. I actually get a crit right now with Ice Shard. Pretty funny. Wanted it earlier, obviously, but Infernape is going to come out, and I still maybe have a chance depending on if he has a really crap EV spread, if it's not max attack, because what I can do is go out into my Florges, go for Wish. I know I do take this, and unfortunately I don't have Protect, obviously. I have, if I had Protect, I also had a chance right now because then Florges could just stall out everything, but I'm going to try and pass it to my Suicune, hoping that he's like Mixed Ape, because the minimum damage that max attack Jolly Ape from Scarf does is 26%, 26 to like 29% Suicune, so I have to hope he's like mixed invested and try and pass that Wish. Not going to be the case, as he's able to knock out my Suicune with the close combat, and my Florges is going to go down to the close combat as well, and that is going to be game. So good game, Hikari. He even crits me last turn just to spite me. Definitely the RNG was not in my favor in this game at all. I tried to fight back, guys. I really did try to fight back, and I tried to do my best. It was still a good game, especially because it made me come back all the way, the entire game. Every single time I thought I had an advantage, I had to keep coming back. But I am going to lose, and that makes my record, what is that, 3-3, I believe, in SPL. So a little bit unfortunate. Hope you guys enjoyed anyway. It was an okay game. It was definitely okay. Obviously, I'm a little bit upset I lost, but that's, you know, I've come to I've come to accept that because it's Pokemon and I can't do anything about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed anyway, and I hope I explained my plays well enough. I know this is a very long battle for SPL, but yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you once again. Feel free to check out the Drop a Draco store. It's only available for one more day, and leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. So cue the outro.